samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidvaram vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanura mardhanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam gurudeva deva. Hari Om. We are continuing the analysis of what is Maya. Maya is that power because of which one became many. This is from the point of both the macro cosmic relation where the total universe came. So Maya becomes a upadhi or a means by which the creator, the Lord or Bhagavan creates the whole universe in whatever name you call, and that creator has to have the knowledge of creation. If I am creating a pot, I should have the know-how of how to create a pot. A ghatasya karta ghatagyaha. A pot maker should know how to make a pot. And the whole creation he has to make, and he should have all the knowledge that are discovered and yet to be discovered or within the creation only, and that knowledge he should have. Therefore, he is called Sarvajnaha. He is omnipotent and omniscient. All religions talk about it. That's exactly what it means. It means the whole creation is coming from him. So all the knowledge that is available in that, all the forces that are within the creation, whether it's a gravitational force or electrical forces, all forces are within the creation. And what is the total force? That universal force is the Maya Shakti, that which creates into many and became many itself, apparently many. Maya means, the definition of Maya is that which is not really there, Yama Sa Maya. That which is not really there but appears to be there is Maya. And if you want to say why it appears, because that is appears for the one who is, for whom it is appearing. As long as I am seeing the plurality, then that is Maya. So plurality is coming because of the vision is there, because the one who is seeing is also part of that creation only. So all that is to be understood also. Now we will analyze a little bit what is Sat, what is Asat, and what is Mithya, because there is a lot of confusion and the interpretation and criticism of Advaita also in this process. And here the Sat is that which exists is Sat. What exists is a ring real or not? As far as it says Sannapya, Sanno, Sanna, Ubhyatmikano, we cannot say it exists or we cannot say it doesn't exist. Because when you're talking about existence, Nasato Vijjate Bhavo, Nabhavo Vijjati Sataha, that which exists never ceases to exist. That is pure existence. That's what Krishna defined, in fact, existence is. And therefore, that if ring exists and it is converted into a bangle, then ring is not really existent as Sat part of it. What exists only, the form exists, for which you give a name for it as a ring. If the form changes into a bangle form, you give a different name. So form is only an attribute of the product of the thing there. But what exactly is the thing? And no scientific analysis provide you the information of that. You can divide into atoms and electrons, protons, and you can keep on dividing. But what is not able to divide is the one who is dividing. That is, the consciousness, a conscious entity is independent entity, and all other things depends on the presence of the conscious entity, and therefore it's a dependent entity, and anything dependent is not swata siddham, is not self-existing. What is self-existing is the one who is independent, and that is the conscious entity. The investigator is the one who has to be analyzed first before he validates what he is investigating. Validity of the analyst. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, analyze the analyst first, because without the analyzing the analyst, any analysis done by that becomes invalid if we don't know who is analyzing. So therefore, one has to be careful. What is Sat is that which remains the same in all periods of time. Trikala abhaditam satyam. That which is same in all periods. That means it never undergoes any change. Therefore it is nityam. That which is eternally present. And that is satyam. So nityam eva satyam. That means that which is always there, and therefore it is there. If it's changing, then there has to be a changeless entity in the changing things. The changeless entity is satyam. So you have to be careful here. Changing entities cannot be Satyam, but what is Satyam is, Satyam is that which is eternally remain. Even in the changes, there has to be something which is conserved, and that which is essentially has to be the real. And since it doesn't undergo any change, so that which does not undergo any change at any time is essentially what we call the Sat. In fact, only thing that fulfills that criteria is Brahman, because Brahman being infinite, it cannot undergo any change. Therefore, Brahman has to remain as Brahman, and therefore no creation is also. That's why any creation is only apparent creation. Therefore, Brahman alone is Trikala Abhaditam, that which never undergoes any change. Therefore, it is Satyam. Therefore, Brahman is defined as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma in the Taittiriya Upanishad. That's exactly what. And that Satyam has to be infinite. Why it is infinite? Suppose it is finite. Say this is part is Satam. Sat, the existence is there. Then we'll ask what is on the other side of the Sat, where Sat is not there. If there is other side, that means other side exists. For me to say there is other side. If other side exists, that means the existence is there in the other side also. So there cannot be place where there cannot be existence. Just like space has to be infinite, because if the space is finite, then what is on the other side of the space? If there is some space on the other side, then space is also infinite. So therefore, space is very subtle, just like existence. And at the same time, existence cannot be perceived, because any perception is possible only for a finite object. Because it's infinite, therefore it cannot be. In fact, in the Chandogya Upanishad, in the Sat Vidya, where he starts, the teacher starts with the statement, Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasid, existence alone was there before creation. Then what happens? The same existence expresses itself in many. So then it says, Asateva idamag. So tadeka ahuhu. Some people say Asadeva idamagram asid. Say that non-existence was there before creation. Then he says, how can that be possible? When you say non-existence was there, that means non-existence was existing. That means it is the existence only. There cannot be non-existence existing. And that's essentially a contradiction in terms. And scripture says, how can it be possible? So existence alone was there before creation, and it became many. So existence, that Sat, is Trikala Abhaditam. It cannot undergo any change, and that alone is true, and that alone is Brahman. So what is Sat is that which is Brahman alone, because that's the only one that does not undergo any modifications. In all modifications, it has to remain, because it cannot, anything cannot be different from Brahman. If something is different from Brahman, yes, we have Brahman who is infinite, and we have other creation. We cannot say, because Brahman is infinite, so it cannot exclude anything. So whole creation has to be inside the Brahman, but whole creation cannot be inside the Brahman, because now we are talking about differentiating within the creation, within Brahman, and being infinite, you cannot have any differences of any kind. Therefore, what is there? Sat is only fulfilling that which does not undergo any change, alone is real. And that's the definition of Advaita also, and that alone is that which is changeless. Now, Asat means non-existent. That means it has no locus for existence at any time. So, it's not the time factor, it has no locus for existence. And for example I normally give is, it says Gaga Boo Boo. Is there a Gaga Boo Boo? So I don't know what's Gagaboo. Please can you go and bring Gagaboo from the other room? If you may go say, what is Gagaboo? I don't know what it is Gagaboo from me to Bin. Because I don't know and you don't know what is knowledge of Gagaboo. Gagaboo only knows if it exists and its attributes are known. That means it has to be existing for me to say, go and bring something there. And he will ask, what is Gagaboo? Then I have to define, hey, it is this tall, this fat, and all the description of attributes of the Gagaboo I have to give. And from that, you can recognize an object with those attributes. If I don't know and you don't know, and if I say go and bring it, it is non-existent. Therefore, that which has no locus for existence is asat. So we have defined Brahman, which is alone sat, and asat, which has no existence at any time, or which has no locus for existence at any time, it comes under asat. Now what is the world? World appears to be there. Chair is there, table is there, food is there, thank God all things are there. Therefore we say it existing, but at the same time it doesn't fulfill the criteria of the first one, Trikala Abhaditam, that which does not undergo any change, alone is real. So therefore it is neither real nor unreal. Sannapya sanna ubhayatmikano. It either exists, you cannot say, that is its it doesn't exist also, you cannot say, because it is there, utility is there. Ring exists or ring doesn't exist. Ring is there, ring is different from a bangle, bangle is different from a necklace. So it is there. So therefore utility of each form is different. At the same time there is no ring, there is no bangle, and there is no necklace. What is there is only gold, which doesn't have any qualities of the ringly qualities or the bangly qualities or the necklacey qualities. All the qualities only belong to the name and the form only. Form itself is an attribute of the object, and therefore this comes, the whole objects come under the criteria of neither under sat nor asat. And we call it a third lamb. It is apparently real but not really real, and therefore it is neither sat nor asat. Sannapya sanna ubhayatmikano. You cannot say it is both sat and sat also. Therefore it is anirvachaniyam. It is inexplicable. I cannot say what it is, at the same time it is there. I am using it. So using a ring, wearing a ring, and all the purpose of the ring being satisfied, at the same time deny that there is no real ring. So you may say, hey, I don't have gratitude. It's not, I am talking about the truth. So therefore what exactly mithya has to be understood. So when I understand in the mithya, which is continuously changing, because it's jagat means object, and jagat itself is jayate gacchate, it is that which continuously changing. I have to see that there is changeless entity in the changing things. What's the changeless entity? That is the sat, which is the substantive, which is the one from which it came, by which it sustained, into which it goes back. I cannot see that in the case of a ring and a bangle and necklace. I can say I can see gold is there, because this is a finite example illustrating the very cause and the material cause itself. But sat itself I cannot say. Say if I have a watch here, say is a watch exists? Yes, watch exists. Existence of the watch. But where exactly is the existence in this watch? Is existence a property of this watch? Is existence a product of this watch? Or is it any part of this watch? Say every part exists. Therefore existence pervades the whole watch. What about the outside the watch? Outside is the space. Does it exist? Yes, outside space also exists. Is there a difference in the existence of the watch and the existence of the space? If the existence is a property, is there a property difference in the watch existence versus space existence? I cannot say. There cannot be any property differences in the existence itself. Existence itself is infinite, because it's there in the watch, it's there in the space surrounding the watch, and the space itself is infinite, so it is infinite also. But at the same time, every object exists. That means existence is being expressed as any object, and object itself existence itself I cannot see, but I can see only form of a watch and say it exists, because otherwise I cannot see. So very perception presupposes the existence of an object. And sometimes I may see hallucinations that it may not really exist. Therefore, when I transact with the world, with the object, I am wearing it, I am decorating myself, I am looking at the watch, it has a function of its own and it's a utility. Therefore, there is a purpose of this object in this form. Then I say that it only knowledge of existence, but there are utilities and all that involved. Therefore, it is transactionally real, and therefore the whole world is transactionally real. That's called Vyavaharika Satyam. So, absolute Brahman, infinite, I cannot transact, because there is no difference of any kind, there is no transactor, and there is no the object of transaction. That difference cannot be there. In Brahman there is nothing of that type. In Brahman it is a pure existent consciousness and anantatvam, or limitless. But only when we are talking about the finite things, there is existence expressed. That means the Brahman himself is expressing in all objects as the very existence, but it is imperceptible, and it's not a property of any instrument, but it's because of which things say, yes, watch is there, world is there, object is there, and so on and so forth. All is there in the names and forms only, but pure existence, which is imperceptible, is, according to Vedanta, it is the very cause in which the whole expression of the world is. So Brahman himself is expressing one. How he is expressing so beautifully, and all that varieties and varieties, every life itself is a wonder. I am able to talk, it's a wonder. I am able to fold my hand, is a wonder. I am able to even blink my eyes because of the wonder, because of that life force, because of which the very contact, very presence of it is enlivening the whole thing, without itself knowing even, or without itself is doing anything at all. That's a real wonder. Therefore it is anirvachanayam. You cannot say it exists, you cannot say it doesn't exist. And the whole Maya itself is Maya itself. So trying to understand what exactly Maya, and it says Daivim Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Say, Krishna says, Daivim Esha Gunamayi. This Maya of mine is of the divine nature. It is my power, essentially Parameshwara Shakti, and therefore you cannot cross Maya without surrendering. So, Mame Vaye Prapadyante Mayametam Tarantite. So, by surrendering to me only, you can cross this Maya. Surrendering to whom? Surrendering to one who is Sarva Vyapakaha. He is Lord Ishvara, who is pervading everything, and therefore to him I surrender. What is that I surrender? Even the one that I am surrendering is also everything, also part of the everything. So there is really nothing to surrender there, because even what I want to surrender itself is his. Therefore what I can surrender is only this ajnanam, this misunderstanding about myself, about the nature and my relationship. That wrong notions has to be surrendered, and that's only real Saranagati. And when that is surrendered, the problem is solved, because there is no really problem to solve. That understanding becomes evident. So I have three categories that are really there. One is the Sat, which is pure existence. That is a Brahman, who is only one who can fulfill that criteria. And there is Asat, which has no locus for existence, and that is like a Vanja Putraha, the son of a barren woman. There is a logical contradiction there. And other examples people give is essentially, the Nyaya gives is the horns of a hare. But because we have not seen any hare with the horns, at least in this world or in this earth, we have not seen. There may be there somewhere else, or I can create one in my dream state. So that kind of is logically possible, but experientially so far there is no, and therefore it also comes under the non-existent. But apparent non-existence really is, there is no locus for existence in transactional world, and that is called Asat. And the whole world that I am able to transact with, and therefore it has to exist. and therefore because of which I can transact, that comes under mithya. It is neither real nor unreal. So what is mithya? Mithya is sat, asat, vilakshanam. That is different from sat and different from asat. So the whole world becomes a mithya only. Mithya doesn't mean that I cannot transact with it. It is transactionally real, just as in the dream state where the tiger is real for a dreamer. So as long as I am in the dream world is no more a dream for me, it's a real. So transactionally it is real. I had to run away from the tiger. The forest is real. All the obstacles on the path are real for me when I am in that state of understanding. Only when I transcend into a higher state of consciousness, I recognize there is no real, no forest, all are my own projection. That understanding comes only when I move out of that state in the case of a dream. That's the only difference between a dream and a waking state. But as long as I have a dream BMI, that is body, mind and intellect of a dream subject is there, I'll be seeing the whole world. I may be realized soul or not realized soul. As long as the BMI is there, then I'll be seeing. But I may not be able to realize the dream is only a dream only when I awaken, because that viveka that is required to discriminate what is real and what is not real. That vilakshanam, that what is essentially eternal and what is ephemeral, that discriminative intellect is not available in the dream state. Why it's not available? If it's available, then I won't be dreaming it. Because that intellect is blocked, because of the avarana, therefore the jnana shakti is removed, and therefore I cannot gain that knowledge that the dream is only a dream, cannot be gained while I am in the dream. Whereas in the waking state, I can develop a viveka, a discriminative faculty by sadhana. How it is to be developed, we already discussed a little bit, and Viveka Sudamani goes into a little bit again in terms of the Trigunatmikam, in terms of Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas of this Prakriti, and analyze deeply what exactly these gunas means and how it manifests in terms of Ishvara Srishti and the Jiva Srishti and in terms of self-realization. This will take up in the next class. We stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.